Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing today? A late vlog waiting for the rainstorm to come. It is going to storm any minute now. If I make it through this vlog without storming, it will be a miracle. We were driving home. It looked like we were driving away from the storm. So we just got home from Caroline's probably about 10 minutes ago. I just took off my shoes and my watch and my ring and stuff, and then I just kept on my shirt and my pants and left everything else on. I was like, Alex took Boo Radley out and put on his eye cream, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go vlog real quick, and then I'm gonna take a nap, and I'm gonna relax and watch TV shows tonight. He's got 2 seasons of a TV show he was telling me about that he started watching. It's some Spanish TV show, I don't know what it is. It's 3 seasons, and he finished the first season last night, so he's got 2 and 3 to finish tonight, and then he's going to start watching the new Ryan Murphy show, Monsters. It's like it's the second season of Monsters. So the first one was about Jeffrey Dahmer. The second season is about the Menendez brothers, and so I started that already, but we'll get to that in just a second. I am really, really tired today. So we got up today, and today was Caroline, and it was Mike's mom's funeral. So the viewing was from 2 to 3, and then there was like a graveside service. And then afterwards, Caroline and Mike were having everybody back to their house. So we left here, I don't know what time we left here, about 1:30. We got there about a little bit right after 2. And I just talked to everybody. It was actually like a really nice turnout. It was really nice service and stuff like that. And they put together all these pictures, you know, that were, you always see, you know, like at viewings and stuff like that. It was really sweet. It was funny because Caroline had some pictures in there of like my mom and my Aunt Kathy and Mike's mom that from like years and years and years ago that I had forgotten. But it was really nice. You know, she had been in memory care for, I don't even know how many years. I mean, it had been years at this point. So David spoke, and he said that she lived there for 8 months. So after my Uncle Dave passed away, she moved in like a month, I think a month later, or 2 months later. And then she lived there for 8 months, and then she moved in the memory care unit. So she's been there ever since then. And I just didn't know that a lot of people would show up. And so there were a couple friends of hers that showed up, and then a couple friends of Caroline showed up, and some friends of Mike showed up, and then like all the grandkids were there, and yeah, it was really nice. And then my Aunt Kathy and Uncle Dave, like their best friend, Carol, who's the one that makes the stuffing, the dressing that we always talk about, Carol's famous dressing. She and her husband came with her daughter and son-in-law, and so it was really, really good to see them. In fact, Caroline and I were talking to them, and she's like, we're like, we need to pick you up again. And Alex is like, I'm so jealous. He's like, I don't get to go to the lunches, but we could do dinner some night. And so she was like, yeah, we need dinner. And then she turned to Caroline and I, and Caroline was like, well, we need to pick you up for brunch again. She's like, no, you need to pick me up so we can go do one of these videos together. And Caroline started laughing because she had seen the video that Caroline and I had done, the review. And so she was like, I just want to sit in the back seat. And she's like, so you'll just sit back there? She's like, yeah, I just want to sit back there while you guys are doing the review. She's like, I think it would be so much fun. And I said, oh my God, people would love that, Carol, if you were in like the back seat of one of my videos. And I said, would you care? She's like, I'm so old, I don't care. She was like, I just want to be in the back seat. And so we promised her that we would do that video. So I don't know when that's going to happen, but one of these Wednesdays when Caroline comes and picks me up, we're going to like go take her to brunch, and then we're going to do a review video with our family friend Carol. That was like my aunt and uncle's, like she and her husband were my aunt and uncle's best friends, like their entire, like they met, like her husband and my Uncle Dave met before my aunt and uncle were married. So like they've known each other their entire marriage. And then they were also in the hospital room the night that my mom passed away. They were really close with my mom as well. So Carol will be in one of Caroline and I's videos. And I was like, do you care if I talk about it in a video? She's like, I don't care at all. She's like, I'm excited about it. She's like, I want to do a video where I'm just like sitting in the back seat when you guys are in the parking lot reviewing something. She's like, I think that would be so fun. I go, oh no, you get to be part of the review. She goes, I get to be part of the review? I was like, yeah, Carol, you get to be part of the review. Alex was laughing and stuff. He was like, well, I want to be there. And so he's like, so we were trying to like arrange a time that we were going to all go do dinner and stuff like that. But it was a really, really nice service. It was beautiful. I had planned to wear a suit today. I didn't know, like, how many people were going to show up, if it was going to be that dressy. I knew it was going to be rather small. It's going to be, like, just, like, close family members and stuff. And so, but, like, Caroline's husband and, like, son, like, they dress, you know, nice for stuff. So I was like, okay, I know I got to wear, you know, something rather nice. And so I walked outside this morning, and it was, like, 88 degrees. And I was like, I cannot. There's no way I can wear a suit. And so then I was, like, going through my closet, and I was like, I don't really have anything that's appropriate that's short sleeve. So I had a Ralph Lauren short sleeve shirt that's black, and then I had this club, it's like club brand or club, something club from Macy's. Remember these polka dot shirts that I have like 3 of them in blue, and then I have these black and white ones too, the polka dots. And so I took it down really quick and I like ironed it. And then I found these gray pants that are brand new. They're like Goodwill Target brand. They fit me so good. They're very, very comfortable. I didn't even know that I had them. They still had the tags on them and stuff like that. And they were like ones that I kept because I had bought them when I was heavier, and so they didn't fit me before. And so I tried them on and they like fit perfectly. Alex was like, where'd you get those pants? He's like, are those new? And I go, they've been in here forever. I didn't even know that I had them. So I wore that with my black shoes, and it was fine. Everybody just dressed kind of very similar to that. Everybody had like khakis on and like a short sleeve shirt. Everybody was talking about how hot it was. So it was really nice. It was a really nice service. We drove from the funeral home over to the service with Caroline's stepson and his wife. And we're talking about movies and stuff like that because they have the movie pass, which Alex has too, but I think he said I don't know if he said he still has it or if he ended up getting rid of it. So they go to like 2 or 3 movies a week. So they've seen everything. So I was asking him about the Twisters movie. They said that they liked the Twisters movie better than the original. They love the Beetlejuice movie, the new Beetlejuice movie. They're like, he is like 3 years younger than Alex. And I think she's like Alex's age. Or maybe he's like 2 years younger than Alex or something like that. But anyway, Trap, he actually said that he really, really liked. He said Josh Hartnett is fantastic in it. I asked him if he had seen Longlegs. He hadn't seen it. There was something else that he told. He was like, there's a lot of new movies that are coming out that I'm really excited to see. So anyway, and then the service was very, very nice. Mike had written something, and so Caroline read it for him, and it was just beautifully written. And then Caroline's niece, Mike's sister's daughter, she read something. That was unbelievable. And then they were kind of like, does anybody want to speak? After like the priest did his, you know, service and everything like that. And then, I mean, it was a very small, like, you know, short service. It was beautiful though. And then they were like, does anybody else want to speak? And Caroline's son David stood up and hadn't like really prepared anything. It was so heartfelt. It was so beautifully done. And he was very emotional, and he was talking about when his Nana lived with them, and that he could sense that like her memory was fading. And it just was so beautiful, especially like in, you know, knowing so many people that have like dementia today and whatever. And, you know, here's this kid that's 22 years old, and he's like addressing it like in words that we don't really know how to say. And he's like, you know, I can remember when she lived with us for those 8 months. And he was like, towards the end, like, I really noticed that like there were a lot of things that she didn't remember, but there were still a lot of things that she did. And he was like, you know, when she moved in there, and he's like, you know, I would go over there and visit with her and cuddle with her. And he was like, you know, there are memories that were fleeting. And he was like, but then there were memories that retained or that stayed. And so he went through this whole thing. He said this beautiful thing, and then at the end he said, and I loved how he said this. He said, I mean, he just came up with this like on the spot. It wasn't like anything written or planned. And he was like, I know that she is in heaven with everybody that loves her, and that her memories are intact. And I just was like, I said to him afterwards, because he was like crying and stuff, and I said, it's just so beautiful that you just like, you speak from your heart. And I said, you said everything that like even us grown adults didn't even know how to put words to. And he was like, well, I was really nervous to speak and whatever. He's just such a great kid. He's just a great young man, you know, and I love his girlfriend, and his girlfriend's parents were there, and it's really nice to see them. And so it was really nice. It just was really, really nice. And it's beautiful. And so then after that, like one of Caroline's friends had gone back to the house to like arrange everything, because Caroline had like ordered some like trays of like spinach dip and cheese and stuff like that and cookies. So she was having everybody back to her house, just kind of really more for like a family get together, you know, and all this kind of stuff, instead of like a after a few. It wasn't really that formal. In fact, at the end, like Caroline's son and his 2 stepbrothers and like their 2 cousins, because they hadn't like all been together like in years. They were all like outside, and the one guy, his like daughter, they actually come over for Christmas and Thanksgiving and stuff like that, but like all of them together, like all the grandkids hadn't been together in a while, and so they were all outside playing football, like in the street and like in the yard and in the street and stuff like that, and Caroline and I were standing in the dining room, and it just was really, like, it was really, really homey. It was really nice, and a couple of Caroline's friends came back. A couple of Caroline's friends that didn't come to the service, they came over to our house afterwards, and so we just all sat around, and we actually stayed over there longer than we thought that we would. It is currently 7:47 p.m., and so we stayed over there longer than I thought we would. Only stay there like, 40 minutes. I didn't think people would really stay there that long, but, people were drinking and talking and having a good time. It was nice. It was homey. It was cozy. It's weird. When we were driving home, we got stuck. So like there's this roundabout off of this one street to go back, to go south to where we live, and Alex is like, why is this traffic there? And I was like, because on the other side is the high school, and it was the high school that we both went to. And I said, well, when he went there, the football stadium is where it is now, but when I went there, it wasn't. They built like this huge football stadium, Carmel did, on the other side. And I said, I bet it's a football game tonight. And it was weird, because I was like, it doesn't feel like a Friday, it feels like a Sunday, I mean, it really does feel like a Sunday. Especially, I think, because I didn't film anything today, because I had pre-filmed my videos from yesterday. It was so nice. I was reading through my comments, and I got a comment. Somebody was like, thank you so much for pre-filming. It was on my movie channel. It was not my movie channel. It's on my Peter Does Stuff channel, and I pre-filmed the Friday, like the movie, movie club announcement, which those videos never get that many views anyway, but it was so nice. And somebody was like, thank you for pre-filming these videos for us. I was like, that's so sweet that somebody says that. But I think because I didn't film any videos today, whenever I don't film videos, I always feel a little kind of off, I mean, it was really, to be honest with you, it was nice to just be around family and not be in a rush to get ready for the funeral and stuff like that today. And Alex and I just like had really nice conversations there and back, and just, it was fun seeing everybody and talking to them. I mean, obviously the situation was sad, but just, it was really nice family time. It was really, really nice family time. So when we're like coming back, and it's like this, we're like literally in gridlock traffic, and I'm like, the reason I'm sitting over here is because it's like, that chair is going to be in the dark if I don't have that light on, and I have to have the inside light on. Because it's getting ready to, I don't know if I show you this, if you'll be able to see, but you can like see the sky is like, let's see if it focuses in a little bit, if you can see. You can't really see, it's not really showing, but up in that upper corner you can see where it's getting dark, and it's like the storm is like moving in, and then it's also getting dark already because it's late. And interestingly enough, it is, when Alex and I came back in his car, it's at 85 degrees. So, I mean, it hasn't even really gone down a whole lot. Yeah, it's 85 and partly cloudy right now. What does that say about rain on here? It said rain tomorrow. Oh, thunderstorms possible around 8:30 p.m. Storms may contain strong gusty winds. There were like leaves blowing all over the road when we were coming back. It was very fall-ish. But anyway, when we like did the roundabout and you could see like the football field, there were tons of cars there, like hundreds of them. And I was like, it's so weird that it's Friday night football, but it seems like, it feels like a Sunday. Because I didn't film anything today, it seems like a holiday, like we were with family and stuff like that. It doesn't feel like a Friday at all, so, but it is. I feel like I talked a lot about TV shows today. Everybody in the family and all of Caroline's friends and stuff watch a lot of TV shows. Caroline's, I guess it would be her niece-in-law, but her, Mike's nephew's wife, I talked to a lot today. She was really fun. I loved her. And I'd never met her before. And so we were talking about, like, she was telling me about all the reality shows she watches. Alex was outside talking to Caroline's stepson's wife and David's girlfriend, and they were talking about Love Island and stuff like that. So I was sitting inside talking to her and being with Miss Mabel. Mabel loves her mama. Mabel was good. Lola's good. All the dogs were good today. And so I was talking to her, and I was like, we were just kind of like talking about like just getting to know each other, and I was like, so do you like watch TV? Because I was talking to one of Caroline's friends. She was asking, I didn't know the Golden Bachelorette started this week, so she was telling me about the Golden Bachelorette. And so when she walked out of the room, I think she was going to get like a glass of wine or something like that. His wife said to me, she's like, do you watch a lot of TV? And I was like, yeah. And she said, what TV shows do you watch? And I said, I watch a lot of true crime. I said I started watching that monster show like the night before last, and then I watched some of it last night. And I was like, do you watch? She's like, oh, I watch all trash TV. And I was like, oh my God, I watch trash TV too. So we were talking about all the housewives, the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. It was so fun talking to people about that. She's like, you love to watch TV and stuff. And Caroline from the other room goes, because I don't, ever lead with this or tell people. I mean, like, when I meet people, it's not like, oh, I have all these YouTube channels and I do, Caroline's like, he has a whole YouTube. She's like, you do YouTube videos? And I was like, yeah, I make YouTube videos and stuff like that. She's like, as a job? And I was like, yeah, but it doesn't feel like that most days. And Caroline's like, he has a TV watching one. I mean, she's like, you have one where you watch TV shows? I go, well, I react to TV shows. And so I was explaining to her. She's like, oh my God. And she's like, so then she's like, what have you been covering lately? And I said, well, I did this true crime one on Max called Being Evil, or Born Evil, and she hadn't seen that one. And then I said, I've been doing a lot of Sister Wives. I said, my video today that I pre-filmed she goes, oh my God, I am obsessed with Sister Wives. So then that was a rabbit hole of us talking about Sister Wives. It was just nice. It was nice to just sit around and be really relaxed and talk to people today. It was nice to, yeah. So anyway, two of Caroline's friends left, and then I was like, we need to get back and check on Boo Radley and stuff like that. And Alex is like, yeah. So we came back. I feel like I hear some. I do. Do you guys hear those raindrops? Raindrops keep falling on my head. It's interesting in situations like this. I always kind of feel like the presence of my mom and my aunt in situations like this, in family situations. Like, they would have loved all of us getting together. I mean, obviously it's for a funeral, which is sad, but just knowing that we're all sitting there and talking and having, like, that would have been something that they would have loved, So it was really nice. It was really nice. They did a really nice job for the funeral and the service and everything like that. His mom was very, very sweet. I really liked her. I started getting really emotional because in Mike's thing that he wrote for Caroline to read, he talked about how she always loved dogs and she had always rescued dogs, and like her last dog, and I think like her last dog passed like 2 years before she lived with them, and she would always talk about her dog. She would always be like, and I kept on like in my head, I was telling Alex this on the way home, I was trying to like rack my brain. I mean, I could have just texted Caroline, I don't know why, but I was trying to rack my brain like the last 2 days. I was like, what was that dog's name? Because she was so funny. I would ask her, I'd always say like, I kept on thinking it was something like Sugar. I was like, was the dog's name like Sugar? My dad's mom hit my grandma, her last dog's name was Pepper. And so I knew it was something like that, like Pepper, Sugar, something like that, and I couldn't remember. And so when Caroline was reading this, she talked about her last dog, and she was like, and of course she loved most of all her last dog, Honey. And I was like, Honey, how did I forget Honey? Because I'd always see her, whenever I would see her at holidays, because she would always be over there first with my aunt and uncle. And I would see her and I'd be like, how's Honey doing? She's like, Honey's good, Honey's good, Honey says hi. She was real sweet. And it was funny. She and my mom used to have like they would just like sit there and laugh together forever and stuff like that. So it was sad, but it's hard, I think, with situations like that, where it's like you don't want the person to be like in pain anymore, but then it's also sad, and I think like that's where like the whole like grief thing comes in. And one of Caroline's friends, like, her mom and dad had literally passed a month apart like 3 months ago. And so yeah. But it was a good day. Some other kind of sad stuff happened, but I'll talk about that in another video. It was not about all that, so I'll talk about that in another video. Like a not really my kind of, not my story to tell kind of thing. But anyway, but it was a nice day. It was a nice family day. Oh, the rain is starting. It was a nice family day of us all hanging out together. And everybody just got along, was telling stories and laughing, and she would have loved it. She liked to just sit on the couch, you know, like for holidays and just sit back and like watch everybody talk. And she always had like Caroline and Mike's dogs like right next to her and stuff like that. She reminded me a lot of my grandma, my mom and my mom's mom, my mom and Kathy's mom. So it was nice. So tonight, when I get done with this vlog, which may be sooner rather than later if it comes up on the front porch, I'm gonna have to stop. If you guys want to see the sky again, do not care. It's like getting grayer by the moment. You can't really see it on video. See, it doesn't ever show up appropriately on video, but like this part over here is like really dark gray clouds. You can't really see it at all. It's so weird, like what shows up. Like I'm coming across as like very red-faced on camera. It's like a yellow tint to the camera. Can you see it? Oh, I'm sure that you can fix it with lighting and adjusting dials and all that. We know I don't do all that, right? We know I don't do that on the camera. But after I get done with this, I am going to go get into bed and I'm going to take a nap for about an hour and a half. I actually slept pretty deep last night, but I'm going to get into bed for about an hour and a half. And then when I get up, I'm going to finish Monsters on Netflix. I don't really, to be honest with you, know what I think about it yet. So, last night, why do I feel like Alex and I, what was last night, Thursday? Why do I feel like, we did watch shows last night. What did Alex and I watch last night? Hold on just a second. Let me get to my weekly TV. I was showing people this today, because they're like, how do you keep track of what you watch? So last night, Alex and I watched Dubai, the second part of the reunion and the final part. Tanya told me that is it weird for you guys that I don't have a hat on today? I didn't even think about that. Well, my hair doesn't look as nice as it did when we left the house earlier, but it's whatever. Oh, the rain smells so good. Oh, that is like a heart of summer rain, where you can like smell the earth and stuff. I love a good rainstorm in this. Well, I love a good rainstorm, period, but I love a good rainstorm in the summer, especially like take a nap and watch some shows. Tanya told me that Dubai got canceled. I haven't found that anywhere online, that it got canceled, but we watched the second part of the reunion. I thought they were going to do like 3 parts. It seemed rather rushed to me. And then Dubai is over. So we finished Dubai, and then we did not watch Orange County, because that came on last night. We watched the premiere of Salt Lake City. Are you guys watching this? What do I have right there? What? I trimmed my beard and shaved and everything today. Now, what is that right there? It looks like something standing out. But anyway, people ask me all the time, they're like, what's like the best franchise or city of Housewives? Salt Lake City is quickly becoming one of my favorites. So I didn't really know, like, you know, oh, the thunder. And the thunder rolls. The last season, the wife of one of Caroline and Mike's nephews, the one I talked to about TV, she's originally she's been here for like 12 years, but 12 or 15 years. Well, their wedding was the same year that Alex and I got married, which is weird. I mean, because I don't really see this side of the family much. And so, I mean, they're not my immediate family. They're like, you know, Mike's niece and nephews on the other side. So, but she's originally from the Dallas area, and so we were talking about when we went out to Dallas and how much we loved it, and she was telling us about her time in Dallas, and we were talking about Texas and stuff like that, so it's kind of fun. But, so last season of Salt Lake City, if you watched it, ended on like this bombshell thing with Monica Garcia coming out, and like they found out that she had been this like troll account on Instagram and other places called Reality Bontis, and that basically she was exposing secrets that they were telling her. She was like making up stuff. She was like working behind the scenes and like, I mean, as a housewife, like exposing stuff about them. I mean, it was a pretty big deal in reality TV. I had a lot to say about it on my channel last year. And so, so that was like how last season of Salt Lake City ended. And people were like, there's no way that Salt Lake City, and before that was when Jen Shaw went to prison, was the season ending before that. And so people are like, okay, this is 2 seasons where Salt Lake City is like ended on like this like bombshell moment, right? Like there's no way they can keep it going with the next season being like this good. Oh, I couldn't believe it watching it last night. There were some, I mean, I literally like, so while we're watching shows, I'll like get up and make a cup of coffee or pour myself some water or whatever, you know, put stuff away. And I mean, I would like get up and I would stand in the doorway because I was like, I can't go get my water. I was like, finally, I was like, Alex, can you just pause it for a second? Because there were Mary Cosby, Alex cannot stand her. And so he doesn't even like that she got her snowflake again. She's a housewife again, but she has so many hilarious her catchphrases, her lines, all this kind of stuff. This one woman that's new in the show, she calls this other woman Bronwyn, who I really like this Bronwyn woman, which means I probably won't end up liking her by the end of the season. It's like Angie Cassavetes. I didn't like her when she started, and now I love her, so it always switches for me. But this Bronwyn woman, I love her. Well, she shows up in this coat. And the coat is like, it's for this Valentine's Day party. And the coat is shaped like this big heart. And this other woman, who's very nice, and I can't remember what her name is, but she's there. She's like the other new housewife. And she says, oh, you came in costume. And her and Mary, this Bronwyn and Mary are talking there, and they're like, costume? She's like, no, this is fashion. And Mary's like, yeah, we don't do costumes, we do fashion. And she's like, oh, well, it looks like a costume. And she's like, there's 3 of these coats in the world. I have one, Rihanna has the other one, and then the other one is in a museum. And she's like, there's only 3 of these in the entire world. It's like stuff like that I love for the housewives. But this woman actually seems really, really nice. By the way, that Mormon soda shop that they have in the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives called Swig is apparently already open because everybody told me that today when I was talking about that show. I was like, I can't wait for that. They're like, it's already open. It's at 96 and Meridian. Didn't you know that? I was like, oh my God, I have to go. So anyway, so that will be happening soon that I go to that soda shop. But anyway, so, you guys, so much fighting, yelling, screaming happens. I mean, Meredith and Whitney and Heather, Whitney and Lisa. Whitney is like, everybody's coming at Whitney, rightfully so, at the beginning of the season, but like everybody's mad. Lisa's, I mean, you guys, this is like the first, if this is the first episode, I can't wait to see what's going to happen this season. It's going to be so good. So we watched that, then we watched Big Brother from Wednesday night, because we weren't caught up. So we watched that, and then Alex was like falling asleep, so I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go upstairs and lay down for a little bit. I knew I didn't have to get up super early today, and I wasn't going to film any videos. I was like, if I get up early enough, I'll film like a Peterisms or a BookTube video, but my other videos were already scheduled to go up. So I was like, okay, I can sleep in a little bit, so I'm going to take a nap, and then I'm going to get up and watch something. So I lay down, take a nap. Of course, Boo Radley, the second that I want to lay down, he is like ready to go. So I got up, took him outside. I mean, it's hilarious because he is just revving to go at night. And so I took him outside. He ran around for a good 15 or 20 minutes, got him a treat, came inside, then he was like ready to lay down for a little bit. So I took a nap and I slept for about, I don't know, like an hour and 15 minutes or something like that. And then I got up and I watched something. It wasn't Welcome to Plathville because I haven't watched that yet. Because the girl that I was talking to, she like looked at my phone. She's like, oh, Welcome to Plathville. I haven't ever started that I wanted to. I said, it's not worth it. Don't start it. It's not. Don't get caught up in that. What did I watch? I watched something last night. Or did I talk? Oh no, I think I talked to Tanya who did I talk to last night on the phone? Oh, I read some of that graphic novel. You guys, this graphic novel is so sad, but it's so well done. It's called This One Summer. If you like graphic novels, it's about these 2 girls that they go to this like beach house every summer. They're like their entire lives, and they're like, I think like 12 years old, they're supposed to be. But it has a lot to do with like the parents too. Like their story is told through it too. Like the mom wanted to have a baby, and then she miscarries, and so it's like how it's affecting their marriage, and so it's like there's like lightning and everything going on. And so it carries all that into the story as well. It's really, really well done. It's kind of sad, though. I mean, it's very much a coming-of-age story. It's weird. It almost kind of, like, reads like a movie that you would watch instead of just reading a graphic novel. It's done, and the pictures are beautifully drawn. I mean, they almost kind of exude sadness. So I sat out here and I read some of that. Anyway, by the time I went inside, Big Brother from last night was on. So I watched that because I wanted to see who the eviction was, who got evicted from the Big Brother house. So I watched that. And then I went in and I started watching that Monsters again. So it's a Ryan Murphy show, and it's called Monsters, and it's season 2. The first one, like I said, was about Jeffrey Dahmer. The second season is about Lyle and Eric Menendez, the Menendez brothers that killed their parents. And so I had watched, I think I didn't finish the first episode the first night, which I had started the night before. I had watched like half of it. I thought I had watched the whole first episode, but I hadn't. I had watched like half of it. So last night I finished the first episode, and then I watched episode 2. They're like an hour long each. Episode 2, episode 3. I'm trying to think of what time all this would have happened. So I started watching Big Brother at like 1, got done at 2, yeah. So I finished episode 1, and then I watched episode 2, episode 3, and then I started episode 4, and I got like 15 minutes into it, I went to bed. It's really good. It's very bizarre. Like, Alex is like, what about the poster? Because the poster is very homoerotic. The whole show is. It's factually based, but there's a lot that's fictionalized in it that you don't know if it's true or not. They really like allude to some kind of like romantic instead the camera stopped, the battery stopped. They allude to some kind of like relationship between the brothers and talk about all this kind of stuff. It's really well done. I thought Nathan Lane played the psychiatrist that's in the show, but I don't know who that is that plays him. It's not him. I got to the second episode and I was like, that's not Nathan Lane. Nathan Lane plays Dominic Dunn, the writer, whose daughter was in Poltergeist that was strangled and killed, and Griffin Dunn is an actor as well, was in that movie After Hours that I just picked for Peter's Movie Club. So he's in it, and then the woman that plays Leslie Abramson, the attorney, she is fantastic. I mean, it's just really, really well cast. Leslie Gorman, I think that's her name. She's in a lot of Ryan Murphy shows. I love her. She's hilarious. She was in that show Popular back in the day, if you guys ever watched the show Popular. And then he brought her back in, like, I can't remember, it was the End of the World Ryan Murphy show that he did. But anyway, so I watched, like, I think I'm on episode 4. I guess I could look. Watch, I'll look in here and I'll be like, no, you're on episode 5. It's only 9 episodes. Maybe I am on episode 5. I don't know where I started last night and where I ended. No, I'm on episode 4. Oh, I know what I watched a little bit of. I watched a little bit of it the night before, and then last night was called Live from the Other Side with Tyler Henry or whatever that psychic. He's a complete fake. I just want y'all to know that, okay? I literally have notes. So what he does is cold reading, and I know whenever I say this, people are like, Tyler Henry is not a fake. Okay, go watch his. So they have a new series with him. It's called Live from the Other Side or something like that, and it's where it's like where he does psychic readings with celebrities. So the first person he has on is from Selling Sunset. I can't remember her name. And it's like, also like Kim Kardashian's hairstylist is on there. They got married to the guy that was in White Lotus, and they got divorced in like 6 months. He's on there too with some of their friends. And like Tyler Henry, I actually have notes of what he says. So he's like, okay, he says to this one woman, he was like, did your mom have aunts? How does he say it? I mean, it's like, I like looked at this because they start crying when he asks them the question. And I'm like, what? Like, because it's interesting because when you watch it, like they edit a lot of it out too. This one woman, he like asked the woman on the end, he asked her these questions and she's like, no. And he's like, really? And she's like, he asks her like 3 questions, and all the questions he's like completely wrong about. And she's like, no. And he's like, really? And she's like, no, that doesn't fit me. And then the woman next to her goes, I think you're talking, what it's about is, did your grandmother who passed away, did she ever let somebody come and live with her, like a family member, to help them out? Okay, there's a lot of grandmas that let people move in with them to help them out. And she's like, no. And he's like, you didn't have nobody, like, not an uncle, a nephew, a daughter, a stranger, anybody ever came to live with your grandma? And she's like, no, I don't think so. So then this woman sitting next to her is like, I think you're talking about me because my grandma let my... And I'm like, oh, God, please, this is so fake. It's called cold reading is what it's called. It's like what a lot of these psychics do. Like, if you're going to get on there and have a show like this on Netflix, I want you to say, on such and such date of 1916... so-and-so's dog died and the dog's name was this. I mean, like, you need to be specific like that or you ain't winning it with me. Not at all. I've gone to psychics that are 100 times more specific than Tyler Henry is on this show. And then they go, oh, well, he's group reading. He's not. He's specifically reading each of these people when you watch it. I have, like, all these lists from it. So, he asked this woman, did your mother have an aunt? What? Well, if your mother was ever married, or if your mother had a sibling, then she probably, or, you know, if your mother's mother had, you know, was married or had a sibling, then yes, she probably had an aunt. Like, that's, who doesn't have an aunt? I mean, like, I think it would be, like, would be a rarer question to ask somebody, did your mother have a set of triplets? Or did you have a set of triplets in your family? Like, that's a rare question to ask somebody than, did your mother have an aunt? And they're like, oh my God, Yes, she did. And he was like, and then they're real emotional about it, right? So he cold calls off that. He realizes that that's an emotional. He goes, and she was close with this aunt. And they're like, yes. And then he ends the whole thing. I have so many notes on this. I'm going to do a whole video about it. He doesn't give anything specific. Oh, their dad. He's like, did you have a dad that passed and is on the other side? And they're like, and he's like, was he younger when he passed? And so he asks questions like that. So if they're like, no, he's like, so he was older when he passed. So that's what he does. See, it's like he goes up and down, right? And he feels you out. And they're like, no, he was younger. Well, you can see how old these girls are. So if you're doing math in your head, you can figure out that the dad probably died in the 80s or in the 90s. And he's like, I see him as like this very cool guy, like in the 80s. Like he thought he was a really cool guy. Well, they've already handed him a drumstick, okay, like drumming. So he's putting it all together. And he's like, I feel like he was like a really cool guy. I'm like, who in the 80s didn't think they were a really cool guy? Okay, I mean, having lived in the 80s, who didn't think they were a really cool guy in the 80s? They're like, yes, he always thought he was a really cool guy. I was like, okay. He asks these women on the end, he goes, do any three of you, okay, have a woman in your family that had medical issues? I'm like, how much are you getting paid? Because I could do this. I could do this. I can cold breed people too. Okay, this is not hard, you know, not at all. Anyway, what was the thing he ended it on? Oh, he says to Chris Appleton, who is originally from England, right? He goes, I feel like there's something about two people that are still alive, but they live in separate countries. I'm like, are you kidding me? Seriously? You go to the one person on the panel that has an English accent, and you go to him and you go, I feel like there's something about two living people, but they live in separate countries. How would you ever guess that, you know? I mean, it's just like... And then he even asks them, and psychic mediums are not supposed to do this. He asks the two sisters, he's like, can you tell me the story of your mom? And then what they tell him, he goes off of. It's so fake, you guys. So I watched a little bit of that last night. Takes a lot to convince me on a psychic medium, as you can probably tell. Like, it takes a lot to really... Oh, it's getting kind of windy and a little cool air out there. It takes a lot to convince me that a psychic is real. But that rain didn't last long, did it? So then I watch that monster show. I don't know what I think about it. It's very, very homoerotic. I will say that. Like, there's just a lot of... I mean, people could call it costuming. I think it's done purposefully. There's a lot of scenes of, like, the one, like, Lyle, like, floating around the pool, walking around the hotel rooms, and he's got, like, a Speedo on. And it's, like, how they touch each other, like, on the show. Like, even though they don't... Well, there is one scene where they kind of kiss each other. Well, you can't really tell. It's, like, at this party in this hotel. But they're really alluding to... I don't know if it's going to come out further in the show. I haven't finished the whole show. Like, I'm going to finish the show tonight. But... So, yeah, I'm going to watch that. And then... Okay, so... This one that I was talking to today... Caroline's nephew's wife, she was telling me about this show. She said it was on Lifetime. And she said, okay, somebody, if you know what the show is, put it in the comment section below, because she didn't know what the name was. And we tried to Google search it and find out. I was like, I'll figure it out later. I'll look it up later. But if you guys know what the show is, let me know. She said it's really, really good. So the show, she said, was on Lifetime. And she said it's about people that have been in prison. And then when they get out, other people let them. I think it's starting to really storm because it's getting really windy. But do you hear how pretty that is? So it's about people when they get out of prison, they go live with these people that let them come live with them. And she's like, this one woman, she's like, it's like, she's very, very religious. Like, her family is very religious. And this guy comes to live with them. And he, like, goes into sleep in their daughter's bedroom. Like, that's where she puts her. And it's like this rainbow room. And on the wall are, like, the 10 Commandment rules for the house or something like that. Does anybody know what this show is? She said she thinks it's only one season. She said it was really interesting, though. So I really want to watch that. So, yeah. So that's been today. It's always a dichotomy in situations like this. You know, when I go to other people's funerals, I always think about, like, people I've lost and memories from the past and things like that. And it was interesting, like, in talking to everybody, they were like, I mean, they were all, you know, obviously closer with their grandmother and mother and stuff like that than I was. But they were all like, we're so, like, it makes us really feel at peace that she's at peace because she just suffered so long from dementia and stuff like that. And, I think grief sometimes can be, I've had to deal with this with my mom and other people, that grief sometimes can be, when it's like over a long illness of something like that, that sometimes it's like, we hold on selfishly because we want other people to still be here for us. When the question is, would you really want them to be here if, you see Fernalicious blowing in the background? If they were in pain, I mean, I wouldn't, you know? I mean, not my mom comatose, sitting in the hospital bed, miserable. I wouldn't want her like that at all, you know? Or other people that I know. But it was a really beautiful service, and it was great seeing everybody and having family time today, so I was grateful for that. Yeah, and now I'm going to go inside and I'm going to relax, and I just want to say this, I did tell Caroline, I said so many people, especially in my vlog, commented and sent you and Mike and David like heartfelt wishes, and just so many of you guys, people sent me DMs and emails and were like, just please send to Caroline that we love her and we're thinking of her, and so many people said that on my videos as well, and I let Caroline know that, and she was like, she said to her friend was sitting next to her, she's like, the people that watch Peter's videos are just so incredibly kind, and she's like, they send me Christmas cards, she's like, they always are like, oh, Caroline's so pretty, and she's like, they're so nice. We talked about that for a little bit. And so, but anyway, I want to say I really, really appreciate it. It means the world. It's surreal when you share a story of something like that, you know, and I'm talking about my cousin Caroline, who's been in a few of my videos, but you guys only know her from basically from me talking about, and then people from all over the world are sending well wishes about that situation. And I think that's so cool, you know? I think that that's really, really cool, and I think that that's a really neat thing that comes with all of this, that interaction. And, you know, I don't know, it's just, it's like when I see comments, I don't know why these comments, but there's like a couple people that are like, oh, I was just waking up, I'm in Australia, or I'm just waking up, and, you know, I'm, you know, in Norway or something like that, or, you know, I'm watching this lake, so I'm in California. Like, just to know that there are like all these people all over the world that are watching videos of me just randomly talking about stuff in my life, and then on top of that, that so many people, and don't ever feel like you need to, but like the fact that so many people left comments and DM'd me and emailed me about just please let Caroline know that I'm thinking of her, I'm sending prayers for her. So many people are like, whether you believe in it or not, I think it's a nice gesture, you know, and Caroline's somebody that definitely does believe in it, but people are like, I'm putting Caroline and her family in my, like, you know, prayer circle and things like that. I thought that was nice, you know, it's really beautiful, and I think that that's, you know, a really, really cool, positive thing, you know, and I'm forever grateful for it, so thank you. And now I'm going to go put on my comfy clothes and relax and take a nap for a little bit. And I hope that you guys are having a magically amazing Friday, a fantastic beginning to your weekend. If nobody else has told you this today, I love you guys. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Love you.